So I'm going to show you how to do multi-face dormers, and on this particular house, they might not be the best examples, but you'll still get the basic idea and be confident enough to know how to tackle them when you run across them. You can see after they come out from the house, they form this multi-faced kind of polygonal shape. But the main principle I want you to understand is even though it's complicated on the front out here, in the back it's the same as a regular dormer. Out here it has all these different direction changes, but as it goes back into the roof, it's just a regular rectangle. Let's think about it this way. If I just had a regular rectangular house here, and it just has two roof faces, and let's say we had already matched it up to the LiDAR, both height and pitch. If I'm just doing a regular gable dormer, I would normally just use the gable dormer tool. But what I want to show you is if I'm drawing it as a roof, I would just draw another rectangle right here going perpendicular into my main roof structure. Let's actually say it's a hip dormer. I'm just going to delete this back roof face here, and there you go. I've created a hip dormer just by drawing another rectangle. It's just two pitched rectangles colliding in a perpendicular way. So the real point I'm trying to make here, it doesn't matter how complex or complicated the shape is outside of the home. If it has normal values like a dormer, the inside is just going to be a rectangular end. So if I draw something just absolutely crazy, I've got all these different directional changes, at the end of the day, it's just going to come back into the roof and just form a rectangular end. Then I would just delete this back hip, maybe a couple other faces. And you can see, even though this is outrageously ugly in the front, the back is still the same two-valleyed going up to a gable dormer type of thing in the back. And this is all because I've made the back a rectangular shape. Now let's take that same principle and apply it to these multi-face dormers over here on the actual house. So this first one kind of sits underneath a lot of stuff, so we can't actually see the point where it crosses into the roof. So you're just kind of tracing where the edge of it is and making a click wherever there's a direction change. And this outer stuff doesn't have to be perfect because you're not actually going to place panels there. Just draw the front roughly the right shape, then just make sure you're coming back and making that 90-degree rectangular end. Then just delete that back hip face. Turn on LiDAR. Raise the height so the gutters match the LiDAR. Then just increase the pitch of all the roof faces. And that's how you'd handle that one. Once again, it doesn't intersect the roof. We have all these other pieces over it. But let's move on to this other one. Like I said, these front little triangles don't need to be absolutely perfect and uniform, and they don't even need to be as close as mine is here. They just need to be somewhat in the general area. Now what I don't want you to do is some people will draw these just as a hip dormer. I don't want you to do that because you'll have these extra corners poking out. And if there's any sort of roof faces below it at all or next to it, it's going to change how it obstructs the roof. It's going to change the shading on the roof. Probably a good 80% of the time, it's not going to really matter that much. But the other 20%, we want to make sure we have it right. So just do it right always. But let's move on to this other one over here. This one's a little more tricky because you can kind of see where these other two faces are poking through here. Once again, just trace out all these directional changes here. This one, I'm not even going to bother to cut in because it's just going to overcomplicate things, and with that extra little piece there, we're not going to be able to fit panels there. It's not going to shade anything, so I'm not going to cut in there. Going to come back here, make sure, once again, the back is just a regular 90-degree rectangle area. Your orange dotted lines won't be too much of a help here because you're not drawing the front faces at 90 degrees, so your back ones, you're just going to have to eyeball. So once again, delete that back face. I'm going to turn on LiDAR, raise the height to match the gutters. At first, I'm just going to apply to all roof faces to increase the pitch, but I am going to have to adjust them individually in a second. So to start out, I'm just going to increase the pitch of just this front roof face. I want the pitch of these side two to be raised up as well. And we're already pretty close to being good enough. I just got to select that front roof face again, increase the pitch a little bit more, and there we go. I would say this is good enough. Notice it's not absolutely perfect, but it is close enough that it's an accurate representation of how this home is going to receive sunlight as well as how we can lay out panels on the roof it's connecting with.